Sometimes we try to stray away from the truth, the whole truth. Sometimes the truth is so cutting. Sometimes it's so brutal, especially when it goes against the norm. And the norm is designed to be accepted. And truth comes along to say that regardless of what you've accepted, it's no good. And it can just tear you up and you don't want to hear it. And sometimes we'll find an easy way. It's like in the beginning of time, if you just had two people and you gave them both the same rules, and let's say an influence came about and it came upon perhaps both, but only one, for whatever the reason is, gave in and accepted the alternative. And just to keep things afloat and to keep things okay, the one that did not give in or go along with it, or should I say sell out, did eventually sell out by going along with it. So you had one that was out of just resisted, did their own thing, and the other followed, give in. That's the way our societies of the world have been since the beginning of time. And it's like a cancer that goes straight through the heart of the family. If you are for, let's say, something that's wonderful, that's good, that's outside of the normal, it will be resisted because the normal has accepted another way to achieve what end that might equal the same. What am I trying to say? This is what I'm trying to say. In politics, whatever you're hearing from Republicans or Democrats, it doesn't matter. In the system, perhaps they do matter, at least for the system. It's a lot of pain and suffering, but the system is designed that those who are not supposed to suffer pain, they don't. And so they don't suffer that way. Now, when it comes to this power of the earth's creation and human existence, it requires total commitment. It's almost like it requires loyalty to it. So in the beginning, when the challenge came and one accepted the challenge, the other was supposed to have resisted rather than go along. Now, why did the other go along? It doesn't matter. There were all kinds of reasons that we as people go along. But if we want to maintain the connection with truth, we'll never go along. There are times when I think in the book they talk about Job and his wife who wanted him to throw in the towel and go along, but he rejected it. They even tell stories about Dr. King and his wife who wanted him to go along, but he rejected it. They talked about Gandhi's wife. They said she wanted him to go along, to get along, but he rejected it. They talked about the wife of Malcolm X. She wanted him to go along, to get along. He didn't go along. And it seemed as if they all had the same outcome. And to me, there's a solid message in that, especially when in the Bible, I don't know if it's fake or just a story, they had this man named Jesus who was such a representative of a human specimen who, regardless of what was represented through the specimen, he was still murdered. So it almost says to me that we had the opportunity in the beginning to create heaven, but we didn't. And ever since, we've been in the process of creating hell all over the globe. Doesn't matter what politics, doesn't matter what nationality. It's all about anti God. It's all about anti love. It's all about anti peace and anti prosperity for all people, anti education and healthcare for all. It's all about anti that. But it's that for some. What if you stand against all evil, domestic and foreign, outside and inside? What would that get you? I would say it depends upon what you were trying to get. If you're looking for freedom, it'll get you freedom. You know, I've been sitting up here bullshitting. When I came out, I wanted to say to you that every time I listen to these politicians, whether they are debating or whether they're making statements to the public, all I hear from my perspective is straight up bullshit. When I hear the commentators talking about what these politicians are talking about, when I hear them comparing what these politicians are talking about in relationship to another, I hear straight up bullshit. And when I hear people being interviewed about certain conditions, about what's important to them, and how would they like to focus policy, where would they would like to see the policy addressed, and what I hear come back is straight up bullshit. Now, why is it that I hear bullshit? Because the right way is the way that works for everyone. And if you cannot see the way that works for everyone, you don't even see the way that works for one. Because the way that works for one is the same way that works for everyone. So when I hear people talking about anything, Republicans and Democrats, strong, these are wonderful people now. I'm not trying to knock these people. These people are loving, kind, hearted, not all of them, but many of them, loving people in spirit and in life. And they follow the rules and regulations, most of them. I'm not going to say they follow them all. Very few people do. But these are great people. But in relationship with what they represent, this big bull-headed lie since the beginning of time that's taken all the human race down to hell, in comparison to what is actually truth, is straight up nothing but bullshit. The problem is they don't know this. The people of the world do not know that what they're doing is straight up bullshit. They have bought into the bullshit, and it is normal to them. So it appears that to stand up means the same thing that happened to everybody that's before you, that you're going to be free. They're going to kill you. Why do they kill you? So that the human race can keep on believing in a lie, keep on believing that death is not the beginning, but the end of something. And believing that lie, they will never stand up. You know, like the bird that was thrown out of the nest by the mother and found out that, whoa, when you start using those wings, you can fly. But it's never thrown out, it's never known. So you got to branch out. So if standing up means that somebody's going to kill you, it must mean it's the avenue to life. So what I'm saying to you, ladies and gentlemen, is what I have just said. All of this politicking is nothing but an expression of people who have not accepted the truth about God. All of this politicking is an expression of people who have not accepted the truth about God. And all of the hell that we have to go through in this life, struggling, trying to deal with the situations of life, the hardships, the pain and the suffering, rather than knowing what the answer to the problem is the consequence of not knowing the truth. So I leave that with you. Maybe it's time to try something new. How does this thing work? The truth of it. Every individual on this earth benefits from resources of this earth. Food, clothing, shelter, education, health care, transportation, anything that exists that's made by the hands of man, humankind benefits from. Now, that doesn't mean that every individual benefits from everything, but that which it is required of, that they need to have is available to them, usually. And the resources that all of this stuff is made from is given freely, just like the earth we walk upon. This earth is here freely. The oil, the minerals, everything that this earth has in it, on it, or above it, seen and unseen, is a gift from that same power that made us, and made us in such a fashion that even artificial intelligence cannot really imitate. And yet instill within us a gift that would allow us the greatest joy and happiness in living in these bodies at these times or any time. And that is to know what that gift is, then to be able to engage that gift in a meaningful manner. And there's no more meaningful manner than in the process of creating that which brings joy and fulfillment in the lives of everybody by them engaging themselves in a process that meets their needs, their wants, and their desires, to assure that those things that are essential for survival never is eliminated. And it happens in such an abundance that everybody has at their leisure. Their dreams come true. And this thing about the system that everybody trying to protect, this system where you have to lie, where you have to cheat, where you have to steal, that stuff is done away with. The system that creates poverty and crime and violence and hatred and racism, all that stuff is done away with, because now you're following the truth of love, the true power in God that you allow to live in you. And you put no man above you, no woman above you, no interest above your interest, which is to do the will of the power that leads you. That leads you. That leads you. And that power interconnects with all of the other powers in such a way that the finished product is cops without guns, no cops. No need that. This is a new world. And this is what I'm asking everybody to do. Let us create a new world. And I'm not trying to do it what you call in a silent kind of way. I'm not trying to make this a secret. I'm asking the whole of humanity, rather than take this world down the way Putin is killing people over in Ukraine and other places are doing the same thing. And rather than lying to people, misusing and abusing people as the militaries are taking over powers, and as in certain countries you have this straying away, trying to lead people in much more desperate situations. Let us not go that route. Let us take advantage of this opportunity and create the will of love. That is that we love. We love. Punishment is left to God. If we see a problem, our efforts is to fix the problem, not punish, but to fix that which caused the problem. And any punishment, we don't let the power that we can't see take care of that. Let us change the world. Let us change the world. Thank you.